Man, we've had a lot of fun here in Saluki Fall Camp 2025, showing the backbone of the program. And when you talk about backbone, there's probably very few people who do as much for the Saluki football program than the young lady who is fortunate to join us. I mean, I'm surprised we have time to talk to her during camp. She's got so much going on. She is the true DuQuoin queen, probably even bigger than Nick Hill in terms of being the hometown king there in DuQuoin. It's Jacqueline Crain who joins us, a proud Saluki alum. Jacqueline, appreciate the time.
Appreciate your time, Luke.
All right, how are you holding up here during camp?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a long summer, really just a couple of days at camp, weeks maybe, I don't know, but I'm doing good.
There are so many things that you do touch that you're around, but just in general, what do you love most about this time of year when it is a grind. There's not much sleep that you're able to get, but what do you enjoy most just of being in the office as much as you are, being around the guys, being around the coaches, just being around the team?
Yeah, honestly, it really just starts with like the time together because we spend all day here, early morning, late night, and really just the group that we have right now, coaching staff, the players, support staff, like it's a special group, and the most enjoyable part is just getting through the grind together.
Mention from DuQuoin, so you're not too far away from. What is your first Saluki memory that you have?
Luke, honestly, my high school, DuQuoin High School, we do a lot of things with SIU coming here. They've got like a big SIU day where all the local high schools come here, but that was like kind of just the standard, but really like big first Saluki memory is just getting the opportunity to be a part of Saluki football.
Has sports always been a major part of your life, and when was kind of your first introduction to athletics?
Oh, yeah, geez. So really, I mean, we're about to get into it, Luke.
That's what it's about.
No, but really my first sport was motocross. So grew up racing dirt bikes. That was my entire childhood, and we spent every weekend traveling the Midwest, my brother and I, really, and so we never spent a weekend at home because we were always gone. And, yeah, motocross was just – it still is a big part of my family, more so my brother now too, but really that was just my entire childhood. Never played any ball sport. And yeah, really, I rode horses a little bit, got a little cowgirl in me, and then started running in middle school, and that really kind of became my thing. And my little brother Anthony, really motocross kind of has always been his thing, but that's where we kind of had a separation in sport. But yeah, so really just started running and fell in love with that, and then somehow ended up in football. I don't know how that happened.
We'll get to that in a moment, but when you think of the motocross love, what was it about that thrill, the anticipation of it? Just what about the process, the sport drew you in, and specifically your family? Like, what was it about the Crain family that really loved it?
For sure. Yeah, no, I always say my mom is Superwoman. My dad was like Evel Knievel, and really just like the passion of the grit and the dedication, the on edge literally sport it is. Like, there's just something, it's a whole nother level of dedication for the athlete, but also the family. And like the biggest thing that with it's, similar in the sense of like you spend a lot of time together. Like every single weekend we were going and traveling, but every single weekend, like we would go to get to see our motocross family and people that we've come to know over the years and do life with and share that bond of the sport and, the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And it's so cool, like such a unique sport that I wish a lot of people got the opportunity just to even watch and learn about. But yeah, it always goes back to the people,
You talk about people, you talk about relationships. That's what, I enjoy most about, especially being around this program and all of our programs here at SIU. When you think of motocross, when you think of football, what's a commonality? You've been around both for so long. What's your favorite commonality between the two that maybe on the outskirts people would not think is a commonality?
Of course, yeah. The first word that comes to mind is easy. It's just the grit. And, motocross is arguably like top 3 most dangerous sports in the world. And football, just with all the things like these guys putting their bodies on the lines. And, with motocross, you are controlling a bike that is a couple 100 pounds heavier than you, and the engine, the horsepower, all the things. And so it's really just like the similarity is the danger aspect and the component. And I think there's a lot of different things that are similar in like the gear. And I think of motocross, like you've got a chest plate, you wear a jersey, you wear a neck brace, the helmet, the gloves, the boots. And then with football, it's like you've got your pads, your jerseys, your cleats, the helmet. But it is similar. It is a weird translation that I don't know. It just happened,
Not to pick on him, but you kind of described Chris Presto. I feel like that's like his whole body
robot,
armor.
yeah.
The Iron Man,
Yes.
Chris Presto at times. Your journey here, of course, being from DuQuoin, you talked about the connection to SIU, how, of course, you've known about SIU. When did Saluki football come into your focus of, this could be possible?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story that was told to me. I don't know how accurate or true this is, but so I ran cross country and track in high school, was coached by Coach Eric Kirkpatrick and Shane Boyette, but really my first job here on campus was at the Bursar's office in the student service building. My boss there, Jill Kirkpatrick, is married to Eric, and so she really got me my first job here on campus, handling all things like the student billing, the tuition. And I guess my freshman year, it really would have been like probably around this time in the fall of 2021. Allegedly they were at Jill and then Coach Hill were at some staff gathering and I think they just kind of ran into each other, and Jill was like, "Hey Nick, Jacqueline Crain, she's going for sport admin. Here's her phone number. I'm sure she'd love to work for you." And I didn't know that she had done this, and I got a random call at the time from Buck Johnson, who was the DFO, and I'm like, who's this guy? Like, what is this number? I don't know. I just answered it, and he was like, "Hey, Coach Hill gave me your phone number. We're interested in having you come up here. Like, what do you say?" And I was like, "What do I say? Like, I think I better go. I can't turn this down." And really just kind of showed up. And from day one, like Coach Hill, his support staff, like the coaches have just really taken me in under their wing and showed me the ropes and allowed me to be a young female in this profession.
One of the things that you talked about is just being in this profession and being surrounded by really good people. What would you say is the number one important trait that you've picked up in being part of Saluki football that's part of the daily culture here?
Yeah, no, I think you just really have to love people well. And, now I always think too, we've been ironically talking about it a lot lately, but Roger Lipe had told me a couple summers ago, actually I was about to go on a mission trip for a month. So I was leaving Saluki football for the whole month of June. And Roger just said, there's going to be a lot of things that happen, but just be where your feet are. And so I've kind of tied that into just my everyday life here at Saluki football, like to be where my feet are and to love these people well, because this profession is a revolving door, right? And now with the transfer portal, the players are getting places too. And so I look back and I look at the staff that we currently have, and this will be my 5th season. We've had all but 2 coaches have gone and left and gone to other schools and things like that. And, the only people who have stayed here have been Coach Hill and Coach Griffin. So I've been a part of a different position coach on every single side of the ball. And, we switched Griff from running backs to tight ends, but it is cool in a way because it puts the pressure on, you don't know how long they're going to be here. So love them well while they are here.
Mentioned your 5th year being around this program, and there's so many different areas that you've touched. I don't know if we have all the time to go through and all the different positions that you have held, but what have you enjoyed about, you've been a videographer. You, of course, help out with the FCA, which I want to get to that in a moment, a little bit more deeper in detail. But, like, all the different things you've done, how has it helped you just in life in general, and just all the different areas that you've been able to touch in this program, what you've been able to take into your personal life?
Yeah, man, it all translates. And I think, like, the coolest thing, I was just talking with one of the guys this morning, like, from the moment that we mentioned their name in the staff room, their junior in high school, senior in high school, transfer portal, whatever, like, the light bulb goes off to me, like, okay, this might be one of our players. And then the moment they get on campus, like, I'm one of the first kind of people that they touch base with. And then, like, to be able to look back and see, like, now this will be my first senior class with,
Wow. Yeah.
LaShawn Lester, Ryan Schwinneman, Jimmy Lansing, kind of that group. And to look back and see them, like, I remember freshmen moving this week with these guys so long ago, but it's been cool to have my hands in so many different things, because I would love to continue to work in athletics, but even thinking about just everyday life, like, not taking things for granted, because you don't know when people are going to leave or go on to somewhere else, and the things like that, but just the connections and the relationship building.
What's something that maybe you were said, hey, we need your help here, that at first you're like, I don't know if I'm cut out for that, but you enjoyed? Is there anything that you maybe initially were like, all right, I'm going to help the program, I know I'm needed here, but, like, I didn't expect that I would enjoy this as much as it was?
Literally the game of football. I'm so serious, because, like, growing up, I had never watched a game of football, like, and I never played any sports other than motocross and running, and so I didn't have to know offense and defense just to be
or let alone special teams.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, don't get me started. But no, so, like, it was such a foreign concept to me, and really, like, growing up, it was only motocross, and so, like, just I never thought really I could enjoy another sport that is so foreign to me, my immediate family, and things like that. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier too, like, there's so many interesting similarities, like, if you do that deep dive, and I've had the privilege to be in both sports, but honestly, just the game in general.
One of the very important areas that you help out with the program, I say help out, but you've really taken on, is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes group on campus. You are a very strong woman of faith. That is always one of the things that you are always communicate when you get to know you. To be able to lead a lot of that within a team is very rare for someone your age. And say that because there's so much respect that the guys, the staff, everybody has, that they're like, man, Luke, if you could just hear how Jacqueline just communicates to everybody, it's really on a special way. I know, one, that means a lot to you, that so many people think highly of you. I know maybe it's self-explanatory in a little bit, but what is the reason you are such just a huge woman of faith, and why it's important for you to have that role with this team, and what it means to have that role with this team to maybe help lead some guys that maybe aren't as into faith as at the start, but through their relationship with you and others on the team, they continue to develop a very important relationship that is very important to you.
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate that and receive that, Luke. And really, it's just where, like, God has led me. Like, I never thought I would be in football. Honestly, like, if you were to ask me when I was in high school, like, what sport are you going to be working with, like, I would have probably thought it would have been track and cross country, like, or motocross. Like, football was never a thing. And so really, like, in my own personal, like, life journey and faith and all the things, like, I've been able to look back and see like the Lord has purposely ordered my steps to lead to Saluki football. And people will say, "Oh, well, you're from DuQuoin, like Coach Hill knew you or whatever," and like, but it's not really. That's not how I see it. And to be honest, like I didn't really have a personal relationship with Coach Hill. I mean, I'm sure he knew who I was. He knew my family, but yeah, and so really just like seeing the Lord lead me here and just trying to be obedient. And it's been so special. Like, I've had so many incredible mentors and people speak into my life. And so, like, I wasn't raised a Christian, I didn't grow up going to church because we were at the motocross track
Yeah.
every weekend. And so, really, like, my first encounter with God, like I'd always believed in him and stuff, but never really knew what life as a Christian really looked like and stuff. And so the first time I heard the word of God preached, I was at the motocross track. We leave town Friday night to travel to the race. We get there, spend the night in the camper. Friday night, Saturday's practice all day, and then Sunday is race day. And so Sunday morning there's a mandatory riders meeting, and then after there's like an optional chapel. And there was a man named Danny Michael who would give a message every Sunday, a part of our series. And I just remember, like, it was a critical time in my life of things going on in my personal life. And it was just, looking back now, it's like, wow, like, this was going on in my life, and then at the same time I heard the word of God for the first time. And so I'll just never forget that. I got my first Bible from the motocross track too, and really like would just open it and read it every night before bed, not having any direction or not a lot of understanding, but had that desire, like, okay, like this book is pretty important one way or another. And like I was just reading through and getting so much peace and joy through such a hard time. And really, like, from there, I had gone to a couple FCA camps. I was in middle school at this point. And then really my freshman year of high school, I started going to First Baptist Church DuQuoin. Really, one of my best friends, I actually just got to be the maid of honor in her wedding in February. But she really led me to Christ. And it's been so cool to see, like, once again, the people that God puts in your life, and she, like, just, I always say she was my mustard seed because she never gave up on leading me to him, right? And so just from there, God continued to put so many people in my life. Started going to the youth group there at church, and the youth pastor, Matt Schaub, and his wife, Bree, have, man, spent so many countless hours just speaking wisdom and prayer and just loving on me, and have really become like two people that I look up to so much, and two people that are family to me. And then it just takes off, like God starts doing things, and I'm growing and learning in my faith and every single day. But and he's working on me, and I start to take the faith more serious, and like it somehow led me here.
What would you, and this is a hard question for me to ask you because I know there's probably many that come to mind, whether it's professionally here through Saluki football, your connections here. Who would you say have been some of your biggest mentors within the program here in your time?
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean, Coach Hill has been amazing. He and Alicia have just been such great people just to love on me, and for him to really just trust me enough to be here, to be a young female in college football. It means so much to me. But Griff and Amy, I've spent a lot of time. Griff just life coaching me, like you don't have to teach me to run routes. Just speak life to me, right? And Griff has been amazing, and like I could say something about every single coach on staff. Like Frame and I go on runs together. Like Erica just had their little girl row, and Asher is gonna start going to daycare and all the things, and Coach Mac, like it's so cool to really see Mac like grow over these past few years, because he first came as a GA, right? Then he gets married to Sid, then he gets the linebackers coach, then he has Brooksy, and like it's just been so cool to see like all these life moments happen in our coaches too, or it's hey Jacqueline, come help me pick out a Christmas present for the girl, or do you think this Lululemon jacket, or and then it turns into like, hey, do you want to see the ring? And I'm like, yeah. And like every coach, past and present, like has taken the time to get to know me, and I think that it just speaks volume, like I'm a young female in this profession, and like I gotta have tough skin, thick skin if I want to hang with the boys and be a part of it, but also like embrace the role as a female on staff with 11 coaches and 100 plus football players. But our coaches have just been nothing but amazing from day one, have taken me in under their wing and really just treated me like a little sister.
The great thing about today's day and age, Jacqueline, is the more you get around football programs, look, females are starting to get more integrated in the sport.
Yeah.
But it's still not maybe quite at a level that it should be. What is a trait that you've learned here on the ground working with this program that if there is a young girl that's listening to you saying, man, what can I do to get myself in a position to be successful like you? What would you say is an important lesson that you've learned, that's something you still value and is really important if this is the direction in a field that you want to go in and be a part of?
Yeah, I think, first of all, you just have to be professional, and just kind of consider how bad do you want this, and then do it the right way. Really, like, it is hard, I'm not going to lie. Like, there are definitely some things that I've had to sacrifice as a college student and things like that now in the role that I'm in, but I don't think I would be where I am right now if it weren't for just trying to be wise and making the right decisions. Like really from day one I kind of operated in the sense of like, okay, if Coach Hill finds out or if administration finds out, are they going to want to promote me or are they going to want to fire me? And you really you have to be professional and just kind of operate at a high level,
As you look throughout, and of course, we've had a lot of conversation within this conversation about your career. What I also think stands out about you too is you've had opportunities to either move along, but hey, you want to stay here. And SIU, one, means a lot to you in that way. It's kind of self-explanatory, I think, by now. People know that this program means a lot to you and the people on it mean a ton to you. But why does this place and why does this program really connect with you where, yeah, there may have been opportunities to pursue full-time jobs, but yet your role here, you feel you are more valued than what that value is where it could be elsewhere?
Yeah, going back to my faith, like I just see this as my mission field. And, I get this opportunity to speak life into these young men, into these coaches, and really just to try to be a light for God's kingdom. And, I've always known, like, as a young female and out of 12 coaches, and then 100 plus guys, like, I'm automatically going to stick out. I'm one woman up here in the office, but I've also seen that is my platform for Christ. And so if I'm going to stick out in this profession, but also in life, like knowing that as a Christian, I am called to be different, to look different, and really just taking that and just my everyday, like going back to this is my mission field. And, there's been a few opportunities to leave and go make some money, but there's no amount of money in the world right now that just could replace what Saluki football brings to me, because it is my job, like as a coach, as a life coach off the field, to speak life into you, but also seeing these young men grow and stuff, and just to kind of be in that big sister role. Like, there are guys that I still want to see develop and grow, and even if it is just one more year and stuff, like I know that God wants me here for right now for the time being, and I'm content with that. When there is maybe the time to leave and go, it'll be a sad day, but it won't be the end of the world because I'll get another new mission field.
Let's wrap it up on this note. We could talk all day, but we'll get you out of here because you got a lot of things to do throughout the rest of your day too. About the team, what are you most excited about just for this year? I know last year was tough for everybody to go through, from the injuries to everything, but man, it really seems like all the guys are in a good frame of mind as they're working together to get this season started. Where do you just go, man? I'm just excited for this team this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to just watch the boys cut it loose. Honestly, like, we're ready to rewrite the story. We're ready to just go out and give it our all. And, I say that, and I'm not going to play a single snap, and I'm not going to call a play, but, like, just being in the fire with these guys all day, every day. Like, I'm excited to watch them go do what they love, and to watch our coaches coach these guys, and then when celebrate the wins, but also be there when the hard times come, and just to be a part of it all. Like, it's just such a special program, and really just the bond, the family that it is. Like, every day at Saluki football is a good day,
And it has been. It's been some hot days,
It has.
Here lately, but still a lot of good days. I'm sure it's even hotter on the press box, right? When you're
Yeah.
out there doing
I know
some film.
that sun is beating down on me. I got my summer tan going though.
Yes, the summer tan no doubt works out nice. Jacqueline, one, really appreciate the time and for you to share your story for all of Saluki Nation, and two, thank you for all you do for us here within the program, and let's have a fun year. It'll be a lot of fun.
Let's do it. Hey, appreciate the time, Luke. Shout out Mom, shout out Summer and Haley, the Schaubs, Saluki football staff, Chris G, Mead, Mike, Bree. Hey, Coach Hill, appreciate you guys. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Saluki Nation, let's pack the stands August 30th versus Thomas More. Go Dogs.